What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm
Uh,
doing just as good as 2 minutes ago.
yeah. Well, listen, yeah. I gave you my stand. Um,
What?
I think I want to. Yeah, listen. Everybody wants to jump in my situation also.
No,
Hang on.
let's not even go there. We don't need to go there. It's not
Okay.
necessary. It's not
Yeah.
necessary. Hey, let me. I wasn't prepared for that, so let's see. What's coming up is Arnold, Brazil.
Arnold Brazil.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys give me your
But now
guys' opinion.
who is going in it? Because we have Javi.
Raphael is in it. TONIO BURTON is in it. What's the guy's name? Ah, shit, I forgot his name. I can't think of
Oh,
his name.
the big guy, the big kid,
Yes, the young kid.
young Vito.
Yeah.
Good video. And then the other one from here from the U.S., national winner 3 years ago.
He's not in it.
Who's not? He's been in Brazil this whole time training.
We're home.
Did he get homesick? Is it, Chris, what? What? I see. Are you? Yeah. Are you? Is that what you call Tourette syndrome or what is it?
I'm like, let me think. Yeah, he went home, man. It wasn't working out there in Brazil.
What do you mean? He's been there for 6 weeks, at least. And he left when did
out, man.
Oh no, are you serious?
It's not that easy.
I talked to his dad at the Arnold in the breakfast.
Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
Thomas, and I talked to his dad, and he said he's doing great. He's over there. He's training hard. Everything's going perfect. And when did he come home?
he went home about a week ago.
Are you still like 2 weeks out? He broke. What does that tell you, Chris?
Thank you, Tim.
It ain't that easy leaving home and doing that, going to a foreign country and trying to prepare for a show. And I mean, I would have thought everything would have been fine, but he went to a doctor. The doctor suggested that he, go visit his doctor back home because he has a, I don't know what kind of system he's got. I don't know what they call it.
Is it colitis?
Yeah, he got something like that. And if you get old, you got to be like really careful about how you handling yourself with the stress and everything.
I know, but doctors in Brazil don't know that disease does not exist in Brazil.
It does, but he wasn't handling being out there.
So, but this is not the first time he pulls out. So does that mean that every time when he gets down to the nitty gritty, it's whatever? I think it's colitis. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm off.
He did the one. Is it some irritable bowel system?
IBS. Yeah. I know he's got something that we found out last time when I think he had to pull out of his show for that.
Right.
So, but what does that mean? That every time when he gets down to the nitty gritty and he starts stressing, that shit's going to kick in?
I just think being away from home and being in a different environment.
I think that's perfect scenario, man.
It's what Dennis used to do all the time.
Yeah, that's perfect scenario. No stress, home stress. You just go focus on your workout.
Brings me to another issue is that was what we called focusing on yourself and what you have to do.
Right.
A lot of people, it's not like that. We all did it. We all moved away from our comfort zone, our families, our friends, our loved ones, sometimes relationship, and we sacrificed all of that because it was for the greater good of what we're trying to accomplish in life. That We all did. You moved, I moved.
Right. I mean, I could have stayed home.
No problem.
And Milos knows that. Milos knows this, that I could have stayed my ass home. I would have got my meals prepared. I could have just focused on training, and that's it. I have everything at home done for me. I chose the last 3 months, or sometimes never less than 2 months, to come over to the U.S. and cook my meals by myself, do the shopping, and do everything by myself. Why? Because I think it kept me focused. I had an agenda every day, and there's no, back then there was no social media, there was no FaceTime.
No paying no bills, no nothing.
No FaceTime, you know what I mean? And you call once a week because back then you still call from the hotel which charge you like $5 to $10 a minute. You know, you make a quick call, I'm still alive, and that's it. I was locked in, and I think that this is what not only made me better, but I think maybe this is what saved my marriage at the end of the day. Because if you stay home and your ass is going nuts in the last couple of weeks, who's going to put up with this every single year? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you just basically protect yourself.
Yeah, but you know, it's just you know, I left Palm Springs. I know it was only a couple hours away, but shit, I stayed away from home for 8 to 10 years away from there. It was like, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I didn't even go home. I even forgot a lot of people even look back home.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, because I was looking forward to him nailing it one day, because he's got all the tools.
Good. I think he's looking good, and those legs are solid. And you know, his upper body's solid. All he had to do was make a couple different improvements with the abs and a little bit more in the back. And I think
I think those improvements would have came in with the condition.
Listen, is he going to move now to New York? Probably.
Where is he from? Was he from? Was he from Texas?
He's
from Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
It makes sense.
So is he doing New York now, or is it just
that could be a shot in the dark, but it seems like it's going to be later than that.
Okay, so just tell us what you know, goddammit, Chris. Come on.
That's all I know. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be. I was thinking New York, but it didn't really sound like that might be the destination. I'm hoping for New York, though. I'd like to see him up there.
Carlos Thomas Jr. Man, listen.
I have enough of this shit this morning.
I've got enough of this shit.
What you gonna?
Carlos Thomas Jr., if you hear me, man, listen. I know whatever it is, the sickness you got, I know it flares up with stress, you know. But you know this is going to happen. So you need to find a way to either limit the stress or a way to deal with it. You know, because I don't think this should be a career-ending disease. I mean, it's not that bad.
I think we want to try to limit the stress, I think.
Yeah, but how much? If you're away, you have no stress. Stress is at home. If you're home with
bodybuilding is one of the most stressful.
Maybe being in Brazil. Maybe being in Brazil was a lot for him to.
Yeah, he probably had all them fat asses walking to the left and to the right. Stress him. Stress him the fuck out.
Yeah, I was trying to find a Brazilian guy that is a monster, but I forgot the name. But
Bruno.
No. Bruno is not doing a show. This one guy is super ripped right now. He worked with Chad last year, I think, for one of the Legion show.
Ah, yes. I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name, though.
Yeah, it bothers me. But, you know, you can Google it quickly. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, Google Brazilian big guy.
Huge bodybuilder. So I don't want to be like Chris, you know, watching the phone, playing with the phone, and then get spanked.
I tell you this, though, who impressed me a lot.
What do you mean, like Chris?
Yeah.
I know I got 5 minutes to deal with you talking.
I told Chris to stop using his phone. Hey, listen. The one who impressed me at the moment, we're really, really impressed with, is TONIO BURTON.
Yeah.
This dude is going to be conditioned out of his mind.
I want him to be, I don't know, how do I say it? I want some lines in those legs.
Okay.
I want some lines. He got the small waist, got the broad shoulders with his body height is nice and broad. So,
and he's also got something that you don't see a lot nowadays anymore. That's super thin skin on his back.
Yeah.
He's a dynamite. I tell you, I saw him compete in a Legion show when he was contesting Sergio Oliva for the third place. Mm-hmm. Regan was second, Sergio was third, and he was fourth. And so, damn, I mean, if it went his way, you know, I wouldn't complain. And then you see, he's like one of those 212, became open, that can be very dangerous. Yeah, he's never going to be same size and thickness and everything, But then when you analyze him, everything is there. I mean, Chris, you say about his legs, he has that small hips and then sweeping thighs. I mean,
That sweeping thigh is not what something I like, and I like to square it off.
Just because Chris don't like it doesn't mean it's great. It's great. Chris,
one second.
Chris, give him some props, man. The guy's great.
I'll
man.
give him some props. I said he
You already.
I think he got a
this-
small
Chris,
waist.
Chris going in with things he don't like.
Listen, it's things it's fibers
Yeah.
being covered up. Put it that way.
I get you. It's kind of like
Fibers being covered up.
kind of like Rami in the beginning.
Yes, fibers being covered up when I know it's fibers there.
Is
But-
that because his new muscle? Why you think this is? Why you?
I
Think,
don't think it's new muscle.
no.
I don't think it's new muscle. I just want to see it. If I can see that, then I could be like, oh shit, because he got the same thing in the back going on, and he could be a great bodybuilder. I told him that. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I saw him last year when he won the New York Pro while I was there, and I said I remember the first year he qualified for was it the first year the first year
not that way.
he qualified for the Olympia the first year in Vegas.
I too. Yeah.
Was in Vegas, and I remember that was his first Olympia. And I remember I saw him before prejudging, like literally, like prejudging Friday starts at what 7? The finals start at 7, and I saw him like at 6 or 6:30. I saw him at the hotel bar, walking past. I said, "Hey man, you nervous?" And he's like, "I said, come on, let's have a tequila, man." We started doing shots at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I swear to God, had a nice double shot of tequila, boom, you know. And I told him back then he was good looking. You know, he was a little smaller still than most of these guys, and that's probably why he didn't get that look. But then when I saw him in New York, you could see he puts on, and even if it's just 4 or 5 pounds, that looked a lot.
And he's living in Reno still, right?
I don't know where.
Yeah, he was. I think he was living in Reno, but he's out there in Brazil. But and then I was talking to him. I said, "Man, you don't look like the dude what you look like. He's from New Orleans." And but he's living in there. But I was like, damn. I was
I don't think he has
never would have thought that.
I don't think he has a part on his body that's not tattooed.
I did.
The dude is covered. Good thing is dark. You can't really tell.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, but I saw his last update, and I think that he is he's going to be dangerous. He's going to be dangerous next to Rafael.
He's got the shape. I mean, he's got the shape to carry him. You know.
Milos.
He beat Regan, and he was right behind Krizo. You know, huge guys,
Yeah.
right? So he won New York last year, and he's legitimate. He needs to. Okay, you like that bubbly muscle?
Yes.
So he has shoulders, arms. He still needs a little bit more bubble on the chest.
Yeah.
I think. But Chris, define this. You just said you're not fan of sweeping thighs. I mean,
Chris full of shit.
Yeah.
Did I have sleeping thighs?
No, that's why you didn't like it.
Because it's not real.
What do you mean it's not real?
real.
Listen, Chris.
You know, I
Chris,
have sweeping thighs,
Chris,
you know, it was
Chris,
real.
Chris,
It's not.
Chris, stop
On
it.
an
Stop
anatomy
it.
chart, it's
Stop.
not fucking-
That's not true. I had, in the beginning of my career, my quads was sweeping. And I always had a good sweep.
Your quads are better than mine.
No, that's not true. But what I'm saying is that's genetics. Some people
But I'm
have a
saying
better
it's better
sweep.
to have sweeping than a feathered, squared off.
But you can have sweeping feathered.
Pull up a anatomy
Chris,
chart.
Chris, you can have
Larry.
sweeping feathered quads. Who says that you can't?
But if they ain't sweeping, what's wrong?
If they ain't sweep,
Feathered. If they ain't feathered, what's wrong?
it's why somebody has high biceps and why somebody's got flatter biceps. Is it because they trained wrong?
Oh, we all have feathers.
That's a sweeping thigh.
Yeah. Let me find something too.
Yeah, you separating it though.
Oh, you want to see the? It's not separated.
Lock it down. Lock it down. Who's that?
It's me, man.
That bum. Who's that bum?
No, but listen, you can have.
I had feathers all over.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
You
know.
have feathers when you separate it too, correct?
I got feathers in my pillow.
Yeah, but your statement of
Wait.
Lateralis.
You guys sound like two
You can
old
have feathers
females.
when you're even separating, correct?
Say it again.
You can have feathers in your quads even when you're just separating them, correct? You weren't there yet.
No. But only in the center though. I don't see
Hey,
you don't see no feathers when you don't squeeze your leg when you don't push on it.
Unless
You could.
Unless you're Jay Cutler.
If you're lean enough.
If you got if you J quads.
If you're lean enough, you can separate it on the way up and on the way down from that contraction and pulling up into that.
True. You can
have it.
You
can have it. I've seen it. I'm just saying. Maybe it's a lot, but if he had that would lock him into closing out some of these shows. I mean, that would be Dexter.
Are you serious?
Dexter 2.0.
So, but are you serious when you say you don't like his legs?
I'm just not a fan of that look.
Really?
Not.
I think.
I want to see some feather. Listen, when I go to a bodybuilding show, Dennis, if I see feathered physique up there, I'm in awe. I'm like,
okay. So what's more important?
I'm not.
What's more important, the size of the leg or the feathering in the quads?
For me, the feathering.
Okay, so what's more important in the glutes?
If I was judging, I'm looking.
What's more important? What's more important in the glutes? A fat ass or some striated ass?
There you go. There you go.
Go ahead, Chris. Say it, Chris. Say it.
It depends on the size. If it ain't that big, it ain't that big of a problem.
Right.
Just, but if you got a real big,
come on, bro.
I would think.
If
there are some lines in there, it would be really awesome.
Yeah, but hold on.
How many? But listen. To be honest, now, how many out of the top guys who has feathered quads? And I'm not talking about 3 lines. I'm talking about who? Tell me who.
I mean, so
I wait.
I've seen Derek's at times. I
haven't seen it. I haven't seen it on stage. You tell me.
When they came to the Olympia battle, Derek had feathers.
I'm not talking about the gym. I'm talking about the stage. Tell me right now, from the top 10 guys, who has
conventional shit?
Who has real feathered?
But they're shooting all over their body.
You don't even give me a chance. You don't even give me a chance to answer my question.
Okay, but they're spot shooting in their body, and it's not allowing for the muscle to show feathers because it's.
So you're accusing all of them of spot shooting in the legs.
I'm just saying a lot. It's rampant right now.
All right. Now I'm gonna ask the question one more time, Milos. Maybe for you, because Chris won't listen.
He's
not listening. He's talking again. I'm not even getting my question in.
So, Mr. Olympia,
top 10 guys who has feathered quad. I mean feathered quads.
Go one by one. Derek does not really have a feathers. He has a quite good separation.
I've seen him though.
On
seen it in my sleep.
12 noon, right? Come on. So not on the stage. Then it says on the stage.
Yeah.
Hadi Chopin is ripped to pieces, but doesn't really have a feathers.
Right, correct.
Yeah. Samson does have
on Instagram.
He does. I've seen
on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Instagram, yes.
Okay, yeah. 4th was Andrew Jack. He does. Andrew has.
Yes.
5th was Brandon Curry. He doesn't.
No.
Hunter Labrada.
No.
Yeah. 7th was Criso. No.
Hell no.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So we don't.
Criso has striations everywhere else.
Yes, right.
But 8th was Burton. Okay, I haven't seen on Antonio. I didn't.
Yeah. No, just rarely someone who has really feathered quads.
Regan has feathers.
On stage?
He does have to lock deeply.
Okay.
But,
I'm sure the guys we just mentioned, they all, some of them possibly have them. They just don't know how to present them. In the gym, on the Instagram, it's so much easier to hold that leg for a couple of seconds. When you're on stage and the adrenaline and everything's kicking in and you got to stay tight, you forget about all this. So that's why I'm not saying they don't have them. Nobody's showing them.
Chris, when did you start getting it? When did you start getting it? And when did you notice?
When I started getting striations?
Yeah.
When I was young.
Okay.
And most people only have them on the outside. When do you see someone who has complete, like
all 3
or 4?
Yeah, the intermediate.
All 4.
All 4. I'll show you a picture right now.
I had some on my hamstring.
Not me. I could have been down to 70 kilos. I would never have striations in my legs. But Andres Munzer, all 4 of them, completely top to bottom. Not just from the bottom,
Like
just the first
Munzer.
3 rows.
Andreas Munzer.
Hip flexor,
Kai
everything
Green,
is right.
Kai Green.
If you look on an anatomy chart, we have fibers all over our body.
Yeah, Kai Green.
Hey, I'll send my
Hey,
pictures.
Lionel
All right.
Bayecki, they had
Nico.
striations. Lionel Bayecki and Kai, they have their striations off season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that just
So,
happened.
so I just say that right there is that's what I'm a big fan of, that look. And I just think if you got striated glutes, I mean, the legs got to come in there at some point. If you
So
got
what do you value more, glutes or quads striated?
But then on the
For some reason,
always legs, always legs.
I would also prefer the legs, but if I can't get the legs and get the glutes, I'm gonna turn around and show their ass. Fuck it. I gotta show something. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, I don't know. I just want to see the ultimate physique.
I mean, Rafael Brandao could have them, right?
He does.
He does have
He does.
a nice separation. Yeah.
Rafael.
Yeah.
I think the striations. You know how we always say that when you're flat, you don't see the detailed striations. You see them more when you're really full or somewhat full. But some striations I think are better when you're flat. When I was flat, I could see the first 5 in my outer quad. On stage, you would never see it.
Some people that fully loaded with glycogen, they lose the striations.
I lost it every single time. Yeah.
But the reason why, okay,
we were
let's talk
loaded
about
with
it.
glycogen.
Carbs.
It's little educational.
Spilled over.
No, but you just full with carbs. It's just too full.
But fully loaded. You know, glycogen
You need the carbs need to fill out the fibers so it can show a striation.
But that's exactly what I just tried to say. For me, it was better when I was flat.
for many guys. Yeah, many guys.
I would wake up in the morning and I have striations. And I would walk around for like an hour and a half and my striations would be gone.
Hey. But Chris, the reason why I was asking you, when did you start getting a cross-threaded quads? I came to US without them, okay? I didn't have a proper, machines. When I went to Jack LaLanne's gym and they had that Nautilus chained leg extension, right? And then you had it at the Gold's Venice. That last part was the hardest part. And then as I started doing it, and I lock in and hold for a couple of seconds, each workout, like, oh shit, look at this. I'm seeing it more and more and more. So when they start appearing, right, I start squeezing the shit out of them. And it's the same thing cross-threaded chest, right? You squeeze a little bit, but squeeze like a maniac. I mean, a lot of people, I just squeeze somewhat. And they think
people weren't even saying the word squeeze up until, they were saying it back in the day, but then people start picking it up. Now everybody's saying the word squeeze, even when no one's squeezing.
You remember Sonny
squeezing? They talking about squeeze.
Sonny Smith, when he came and trained with me, like 91, and we start training, and then I say, squeeze, and then he looked at me, what for?
Robbie was trying to tell me this, and I was in so much pain. I wasn't trying to squeeze nothing. I was just trying to move the weight, So, but I know for a fact that back in '97, I remember I looked at old tape and I heard him telling me to squeeze the muscle. I was just like, that shit hurt.
You get the quality, 1,000,000% for sure. Keep squeezing.
But I was getting deep tissue massage since I was a teenager, and that's one thing that I feel helped a lot in that situation was a cleared out physique from all the scar tissue and everything.
Yeah. I was at Colorado ART clinic, Dr. Reiche, before. I remember Charles Poliquin told me, look, man,
what
I can make that biceps separate. You can see both heads of the biceps. I said, come on, man. I never had it, right? So they dig the finger, they did few passes, and then they took a picture. And damn, I had a split.
What was his name? Start with a P, right? Didn't he have a book and everything? That guy.
Charles Poliquin? Yeah, Charles Poliquin, good friend of mine. Yeah, he's
but it was a
strength coach ever.
Is that the guy?
Awesome.
Maybe that's the guy.
You don't know Charles Poliquin, Chris? I'm sure you know him when you see him.
No, I love him.
Charles work Chas worked in Dennis in a Colosseum gym. Remember, Dennis, when you were crying?
You see
Who's
that?
that?
Becky?
Lava,
Oh yeah,
he don't
Back-
even,
okay,
he don't even have to flex him.
that I like.
Yeah. He
That
never,
I
he didn't even have to flex him. He shit was
That
so jealous. I was
is-
so jealous.
that's bodybuilding for me right there.
Yeah. Milos, do you remember that when he worked on me up there in the office? Oh, in that,
I know you were crying, and
I wasn't really crying. I was making noise for sure.
Yeah.
Shit was painful.
And then
I was making
Chris Land, and Chris Land was all bruised, right? Yeah,
That was
that's
painful. And I went to one time, I don't know who told me to go there. I don't know, was it you, Milos? Or was it Jay? I went to a guy in Mesa. Costa Mesa.
You're talking about
Steve Murphy.
Steve,
Murphy.
yes.
That was my guy because I competed against Steve in '87, and then he went to school in Hawaii for 4 years. Came back, and I just so happened to be in Newport at the time, and we're in the same sushi restaurant. I say, "Hey, Chris, I'm back now. I went to school. This is that. I said, I want you to come down and come and see me at my office." I said, "I'll do some deep tissue." I said, "Okay, let's do it." So when I did it, then I was like, "Oh shit," because this reminded me of the guy I had when I was a teenager in Orange County, the original guy, and he was nothing short of that. He was to me the best I've encountered in the whole world since then.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
You know what? I'm glad I'm looking at my phone just now because he said I'm waiting in the waiting room. I forgot to look at the computer here.
It's all right.
How
long you been waiting?
you been waiting?
20 minutes.
Don't lie.
20 minutes? 20 minutes?
No, you serious? Oh, I'm so sorry. Bro.
Yeah, I got in here about 2:05. It's all right.
Oh, okay.
No worries.
Yeah, I just have to get
Because
my chest played.
usually Kylie has a computer and she would see if somebody. I have a computer here, but I forgot to look.
Yeah. I text you on WhatsApp and on regular.
Yeah,
So.
John.
No
Quick
worries.
question. We were just at first welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time. Quick
Thank
question
you.
for you. Do you ever have striated quads? Cross-striated?
Cross-striated quads.
we just having a little discussion about cross-striation because Chris doesn't like sweepy quads.
I have.
I like sweeping quads. I want lines in them. That's all. I want.
So
some
I have.
element,
It's funny.
and I want
You
some
know
quality.
when I guess the Jay Cutler stomp where his was like flexed down.
Yeah.
Mine can get like that faintly, but when I separate them, like standing in the front relaxed, I have them on the outside of my quad.
Right.
Oh,
Okay. Because we just went through this. I said, listen, if we're honest right now, at the top 10 in the Olympia, how many of the top 10 guys really have cross-striated quads?
Not many of them.
Well, we couldn't
right?
really find a single one of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Good
Howdy's
thing or a bad
close.
Hardy's got fucking crazy, super thin skin, but they're not really cross-striated.
Nah,
They're
yeah.
separated, And listen, I mean, I remember, I never forget when I was staying with Dorian in England and we talked about this leg separation and stuff. We had that conversation. He also said, I could go down to 200 pounds. I would never have cross striations in my quads.
Yeah.
That's just something, even though we all have the same
Anatomy.
anatomy.
Yeah.
And it's still, some people get striations in the glutes and some people just can't.
Yeah. I have some complications.
I do.
But Milos, this is a question for you. Is it possible? Chris had one huge line going straight in. Is it possible that because we all have the same anatomy, that some people just don't have it because they train different?
I mean, how do you explain Dorian?
Is it a body fat thing?
How do you explain Dorian Yates having a zero body fat, right? Mm-hmm. And having that quadriceps and not being feathered? I don't get it, right? Yeah. So, so I guess it's possible. But I was going to mention about John, because when I talked to John, he said, usually he has a fat ass. He doesn't have a striated ass.
Right.
And like 4 weeks before the Arnold Classic, already there's like striations all.
I wouldn't say fat ass. I would say John has a big ass.
Got him. Okay, Jay. Yeah, John. Hey.
Damn, dog. You put PH.
It's not fat ass. Come on.
Yeah, don't say it again. Don't say it again.
No,
Damn.
I told John actually. I don't know if did I say something after your comeback last year. Did I say anything to you that congratulations because you look fucking
Yeah,
unbelievable,
you congratulated
you
me. So I
know?
look great.
And he came back this year for the Arnold, and he topped that.
Better.
Even better, you know, which, you know, a lot of people didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
seeing you coming back at almost 40, or are you 40 now?
Not yet. I still got a few more months. I'm holding on.
Almost 40 shows
He's been-
shows again that, and you know, age is really nothing but a number, and the 40 is basically 30. You know,
That's when you
Listen,
get nowadays.
I've said this, you know, a few times now, privately within my family and friends, and I feel like I'm just hitting my prime. I feel really good. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I've been, you know, competing a long time. And I guess the normal wear and tear, you feel the aches and pains of training all these years. But I feel good, man. I'm more driven, more excited, more fired up than I've ever been my entire career.
When did you start competing?
I started competing when I was 18. So, man, 22 years ago.
And that's what I think is a full career of bodybuilding from a teenager on. You know, a lot of people start later.
Yeah.
But there is a way, and that's why I don't think you pushed everything to the limit before you were 22. It takes time. It takes time to understand the training. It takes time to get your mindset with your muscle. I even tried to come in, and I came out there to the East Coast to try to help you one time.
Yes,
And
you did.
it was what you needed, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was
All
great.
right.
I'm waiting for round 2, man.
All right. we gotta set that up.
Did
We gotta
you-
set that up.
John,
I can come out there.
did you get a chance to rewatch the Arnold in Columbus? The live stream?
You know, I haven't. I've been so focused on just moving forward and keep pushing the boundaries and keep pushing myself that I haven't really stopped. I don't like to look back at myself because my wife, long story short, my wife was actually in tears the other day because she said, "Have you stopped?" Like, she was really crying because she felt bad for me. And it's not, I don't want pity. It's just that I don't want to stop and congratulate myself yet because I'm nowhere near where I want to be, you know?
I know,
So
but as a competitor, don't you want to watch yourself back to see what you look like standing next to the top guys?
Yeah, so I have stopped and looked at pictures, and for me, that's really what fired me up. It's like, hey, you know, there's some shots there that look pretty good.
I tell you something. I was broadcasting. I was doing the live stream with Fuad and Janet, and seeing you come out and seeing you getting compared with guys that are placed 2 and 3 at the Olympia, and seeing you guys turn around. And did anybody tell you that you had the best double biceps in that show?
See, so that's the thing.
The best rear double biceps. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my family tells me that, but no one.
I think your back double biceps was the best.
Complete.
Complete, detail. You kind of reminded me when you turned around with your back. Reminded me of Derek Lunsford's back double biceps.
Wow. That's a compliment. Thank you very much.
You had everything. Everything was there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your legs probably a little bit shorter, but your glutes were in. Your hamstrings were dug out.
Hamstrings were in, bro.
Listen, next to Hardy and next to Samson, you on the back double biceps. If I had to give this post to someone, you get it from me.
Wow. Hey man, I tell you, I did not expect that from you.
Milos is not saying nothing. Milos.
I agree.
Because he just see one guy up there.
Yeah.
Listen.
only have eyes for you, Samson.
On that note, listen, comparing him with the Derek Lansford, that's like, oh, Derek, that's the best back double biceps for years, maybe all time. And Derek has that V-taper that John still didn't have it. I mean, John had a detail.
I'm talking about the detail. I'm talking about the detail.
You know, that's why you have to, like, Chris is talking about separation sweep, feathers. Yeah, okay,
Yes.
like a sweep. How can you not like a sweep? That's goddamn lateralis. You have to have like a sweep.
Because I know motherfuckers get crazy.
Milos,
That's why I say that.
Milos, have you still not realized that Chris never likes the things he didn't have?
Yeah, that's but Chris and I don't like aesthetic glue.
I was 2 cc's away from all that shit.
Oh, stop it, Chris. Stop.
Trust me.
But
Trust me. I could have.
Okay, listen. Let's argue about this real quick.
Trust me.
Let's argue. Chris is sitting here saying,
Okay, wait.
no.
Don't paint a
Can I say?
picture.
How can I mute
Don't
this?
paint a
How
picture
can
that's
I?
not there.
How can I mute this guy?
I'm gonna mute you.
Chris is muted. Okay, hold on. Chris is saying, Chris, we can't hear you no more. You can run your mouth all you want right now. Chris is saying that most of these guys shooting up their outer quads. Do you agree or not? Hold on, let me bring him back now.
Well, I mean, I've spoken to several guys that I know some guys that do shoot their quads and some guys that don't.
So, but you make it you make it like everybody's shooting them.
I'm just saying there's an issue with that, and it don't allow people to show their true definition. When I saw the pictures of you, John, before the show, what did I say? I said, if you look like this, keep this shape here, just get those lines in, and you're going to be great. And I feel you did that. I didn't think you were going to do that to that extent from the back, because I never saw you look like that from the back. But right. I know your training improved, and I know your mindset improved about what you're delivering and putting on the stage. So that makes a lot of sense how you did look like that.
I like that. I like that mute button though. You see that?
Boom!
You see, because I told 2 weeks ago I told Chris, I said, Chris, you can say more if you want. No, we can't get him to stop. We can't get him.
That's right.
We can't get a word in no more. So I had to mute him.
Turn over a new leaf.
Okay, Chris.
Nobody. What?
Nobody can shoot a teardrop. So the
really?
I begged.
Why did people wait?
Hold on, Chris.
Okay.
Do I have to mute you? No. Okay.
No, you
Milos, I beg to differ. I can tell you right now, someone who shot his teardrop.
Listen.
Okay.
To the point where it looked like he had two horns coming out. Ernie Taylor.
And then, motherfucker, what happened to him?
One example, I didn't.
And what happened to the teardrops?
Yeah.
Got ate up.
I don't know about that because.
Oh yeah.
I just saw
it disintegrates the muscle.
It looked like two horns.
No. Medialis would be too painful and doesn't make sense. That's the only example I do remember, Dennis. So Ernie needed more sweep and needed more size, so he did it, and it was visible. That's the only guy in the history that I know.
Me too. That's the only guy where I know, even without even asking him, because you can see.
Okay, so let's speak a little bit further. Okay. It's too many nerves there, right? It's too many nerves, and lower you go, the worse it gets, and that's how abscesses and infections and everything else happen.
I'm not talking this to talk shit. I'm trying to help people not try to prolong their careers. It don't matter to me. They're not going to compete against me, but I want to see people in the sport longer and be able to be like John at 39 and still feeling fresh, still feeling like he could still improve. That's what you want. You don't want guys burning out before they're 30. Now there's some greatness. Then people are always talking about how someone young, this guy is so young. Yeah, he ain't gonna be there before he's 30, just like Rich wasn't there. Rich had to leave before he was 30. Some guys can just do a nice lengthy career, make money for their families and see the end process of their physique.
Yeah, and John,
that's what I want to see.
Go ahead.
Also, going off of that too is that I think the access to information through the internet and social media. I didn't do my first cycle until I was 25. But, being in the gym business now, it's like I get 17, 16-year-old kids coming into my gym and they're like, hey, what should I do for my first cycle? I'm like,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
you know,
What
so
I do for my third?
But I'm glad you mentioned that you competing at 18, but you didn't do your first cycle till 25. That's why
my dad would've slapped me upside the head.
that's why you're still fresh, and that's why your body is still holding up, because you haven't abused it for so long. And
Right.
I think that even though it sounds terrible, that your biceps tear helped you to give your body some more rest. At a certain age that you probably wouldn't have if you wouldn't have that tear. You would have probably put more stress on your body. And I think, to get off and stay clean for a while to rehab your injury helped you to recover to the point where you said, now I want to go for one more run.
Yeah, I agree.
John, you didn't finish. You said that your wife realized that you still didn't relax.
All the roses.
Oh, yeah, you started and then we distracted you. So you did these two shows and you're still in that zone. That's what you noticed, right?
Well, she asked me. We were sitting out in the back, and I like to sit in the backyard and just kind of relax out there. And she asked me if I was proud of myself for the recent accomplishment. And I guess harshly, I didn't say it harshly, but I guess it came out harsh. And I said, no, what's there to be proud of? And she was like, what do you mean? Well, you just placed fourth at the Olympia, at the Arnold and Stenson and, Hadi were really like the top 2 and 3 guys in the world. And, Rafael Brandau's really good and Hakeem's really good. But I'm stuck in that, like, I don't want to stop and pat myself on the back and relax, because I'm also at a point in my career where I know people are like, well, he's almost 40. Even though I know how I feel fresh as when I did when I was 20. But the conversation changes how your perception, right? And so I know I feel great, but people are already like, oh, he's going to be 40, even though Sean Roden won his first Olympia, 42, 43 years old?
I think it was 44.
44?
I think it was 44 when he won the Olympia.
Okay. Dexter Jackson won it when he was in his 40s. Ronnie Coleman was still winning when he was in his 40s. There's a lot of examples, but people tend to forget. But I also know that there's a shortened. It's not like I'm 20 anymore. I don't have 20 years in front of me to continue doing this. So I'm like more so in the mindset of like, am I happy I didn't place 5th? 100%. But to me, I wouldn't be proud unless I won. If that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Oh, it doesn't make sense. Listen, sorry.
You ain't first, you're last.
Right.
You don't win.
Right.
You don't win just with the trophy. You are one of the guys at the highest level compared to the number 2 and number 3 in the world, and you're holding your own. So there's a lot of things to be proud of. I mean,
Of course.
I'm your wife on that one.
Yeah.
Listen.
I don't think he has lack of pride. I just think he wants to
humor.
stop and smell the roses.
I think he's not done. He's not done.
At the end of his career, that probably drives him that way. At the end of his career, you can look back as,
But
well, I mean, I was thinking this is much deeper into this conversation. I was thinking, there's a lot of things that I'm grateful for in my life. Having the bicep tear was probably the lowest moment of my life. You guys know I went through a divorce and a whole bunch of other shit that kind of left me destroyed as a man. To rebuild from that, and then having torn my bicep, I felt like the world was just against me, right? Like, you guys understand this. You guys did this for a long time in your lives as well. Bodybuilding was part of who I am. It is a part of who I am, right? So after going through divorce, losing the business, losing the house, all this shit happening, then I tear my bicep. I felt like, God, what else? Like, now I can't even lift weights. Like, so I'm so grateful that I'm able to compete at any show, as a pro. I'm so grateful. But in that same thought process, I started thinking like, well, what's going to be said of John at the end of John's career? I don't have kids. I want kids. But I started thinking about my niece and nephew. Like, what is going to be told about me to my niece and nephew? you know, to my friends, to my family. Yeah, John was just a journeyman. He did good in his career, but he was never like the best. You know, John had some shit happen to him like we all do. And he my wife said we're working on it. Anyways, and he crumbled, you know, like he didn't elevate. He could not get past that. And I didn't want that to be said of me. And, you know, maybe that's a little bit of my age, you know, coming into my 40th year, starting to realize like what I want out of my life, you know, and what I want to be said of me, what I want to be said of the man, John Delarosa, not just the bodybuilder. And there's certain aspects of my life that I am proud of. I think I'm a good human being. I think I try to do good by people. I try to, you know, help where I can, and I'm a good family man. But as far as my career and what I've done in my career, am I proud of that? No, I'm not. You know, I know that I wasted 5 years of my life kind of kicking dust. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. You know what I mean?
But you found a way out, man. You found a way out, and that's all that matters right now. So forget about those 5 years that you suffered, because that's the past. You have a beautiful wife right now. You got a business going. You have everything going. And listen, when something bad happens, something good will come back to you if you're a good person. And it's exactly what happened to you. You find, like I said, she's beautiful, man. I remember you posting pictures, and all of the next thing you know, you're married. I was like, look at John.
Yeah,
and then
I like that symbol behind your head says home. I like that for you.
Then he opened the gym, and you said the gym is going well.
The gym's doing great. Yeah. So like I said, the mindset changed, and I kind of elevated what I wanted to be said about me. And if nothing else, like, I've always had this dream. I told you this the other day on the phone, Dennis, when we were talking about doing the podcast. Chris, you as well, Milos. I had you guys on my wall. You guys were what I wanted to be, right? And I wanted that so badly for myself. And to think that I haven't really given my all, because I haven't. Not that it disappoints me, but I'm still in it, and I have the opportunity now to like elevate to where I really want to be. And even if I don't get there, I can look back at myself and say, I gave it my all. That's something to be proud of.
Right.
You know what I mean? What I want to see you do is give it your all, man. Because that's the biggest regret out of so many champions or so many competitors, not even just in sports in general.
Right.
That's one of the biggest regrets for a competitor.
John.
And so now looping all that back in, when I saw pictures of me and Hadi standing next to each other, I was like, man, I'm not that far off.
Wait a minute.
Bodybuilding is inches and small cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was super impressive. I mean, if Dennis James claims he see you winning a back double biceps over Hadi Chapman, that's a huge statement.
Huge.
Yeah. You're a complete bodybuilder. That's what you have going for you. And now that we talk, you're 39 years of age and you feel fresh and ready and all that stuff. I think, you still have many years to be at your peak. Just be very careful. Don't go for that extra all out, all this shit, because that's the only thing that can stop you.
Yeah, but I tell you this, Milos, I talked to John 2 days ago, and I can hear when he talks that that's not him at all. He's not that kind of guy. He has different plans to do it the right way, you know?
Right.
And he will have it. I want to know this, John. What happened from Friday to Saturday? You came out Friday, and I think you were in 4th place Friday.
Which one?
In Columbus. Mm-hmm. And you lost it. Akeem passed you on Saturday, and kind of did Akeem got 4th? He ended up 4th?
No. Akeem ended up 5th. I stayed 4th.
That was over in.
Oh, you got 4th.
The UK one.
But something happened. Something happened from Friday to Saturday.
No, that was just in the night show. The when he called him out, and he was kind of like on the outside. Is that what you're talking about?
No, but he came out on Friday. He didn't look as good as he did. I mean, Saturday, he didn't look as good as he did Friday. And I thought it was because Saturday, he came out with no oil.
Yeah, so on
yeah, he came out with no oil. I mean, Friday, he was oiled. God. He was oiled. You could see the detail that I didn't see without the oil.
So what happened was my wife, which I think this is something that, you know, I don't know. I was a little bit bummed. They had her all the way in the back at the Arnold. So she was listening to you guys, Dennis, on the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody had mentioned that I had too much oil.
That was Fuad. I did not tell you not to listen to Fuad.
So now I'm backstage. I run off stage because, my wife she's my ride or die. She's like, baby, you got too much oil. Take the oil off.
Big mistake.
So I'm back there and I'm like, holy shit, I got too much oil.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How did she tell you that?
She texted me.
Okay. Now listen. Stop right there just for a quick second. I used to do that back in the day, but people used to tease me, telling me I'm doing something else and I'm not focused. I said, I'm talking to my spotters in the damn audience.
Yeah.
Tell me who to look for, who's looking like what, how am I looking, how, how do I need to hit something harder or more?
Right.
Thank you,
Right.
John.
Yeah.
Listen, having not enough oil is the worst thing that can happen to you on a stage with a good light because you don't see the detail. And it showed on, and I'm only going off, I don't know, Milos can probably talk about it because he looked up on stage. I saw you on the screen, and on the screen, I said he just looked like he doesn't have any oil on. And it hurt you. It hurt you,
It did.
And
it did. And that's, lesson learned. Moving forward, I told my wife, I said, because I didn't know she was watching the live stream. I didn't know where she was sitting. Moving forward, I told her, listen, whatever you see on the screen, if you're not actually seeing it, don't tell me.
Right.
Don't listen to what everyone else is saying. I want you to tell me what you see because I trust her more than anyone else.
Right.
So, John, this is what I saw, what I noticed. I think you were the same from the back. I don't know if you filled up a little bit more, but I feel like it washed out your abs a little bit. Tell me what you think.
So the only difference between Friday, we documented everything. And Saturday night, 6 hours before we hit the stage, on Friday, we pulled back. So from the morning that I got up to 6 hours before we hit the stage, we were drinking 100 mLs of water every 30 minutes. Then we cut it back to every hour, 6 hours before we hit the stage. On Saturday, we continued 100 mLs of water every 30 minutes all the way through. So I actually ended up having, I think, an extra liter of water or something like that, which is what we were doing was we saw that Akeem was getting pushed into that 4 or 5 spot. There's no way I'm going to outmass Akeem.
Mm-hmm.
But we figured with a little bit more fullness, if we can push it, maybe we could secure that spot, which thankfully we ended up doing. But it did sacrifice a little bit of the sharpness. So then moving into UK, we followed the exact same plan for Friday and Saturday. We just cut back the water.
Where would you see if you compare yourself from Columbus to the UK, what do you think?
I like my look on Friday night, Ohio, more than any of the look. I think there was a good pop, fullness, hardness, dryness. I think it was the best overall look.
Yeah.
But I did wake up on Saturday for UK, and it was like the sharpest. I was impressed. I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool.
It's hard for us because I saw you on TV in Columbus, and it was a different stream. The stream in the UK was terrible.
Yeah, I heard
everything looked dark. Everybody looked a little bit off. It was really,
Yeah.
The only one that came across a little bit better was Samson because I guess dark and dark matched well because he was really oiled up well and it helped him.
No.
But Chris was there. He saw you in the UK and in Columbus. Chris, do you agree with John?
Yeah, slightly. I would just like to see. It's funny because a lot of people got to get their backside to match their front. I just want to see him put his front matching his back.
Yeah.
Then we talking. But John, I was really impressed, man. I was basically impressed because I saw you throughout the years. I never seen you lock in the hamstrings with the glutes, with the lower back, with the definition and the development in the back. I would love to see your abs thicker because I think you have more of a powerful physique with that needs, those shots you're doing, that's going to make your body stand out so much more to the judging, I think.
Can I ask you guys your guys' professional opinion? You guys know how I normally hit my front double bicep with my rib cage expanded up?
Elongated, yeah.
And you do it with the abs too.
I like
Right.
in Columbus. I loved it. In Columbus, when you did it in Columbus, you went high, elongated. This is what I told Rami to do. And when he hits it right, it's fucking ridiculous. And you did a good job.
Right.
It looked
Right.
really good.
So you like-
Because not a lot of people can have really tight abs and still flare their lats. But you
Right.
were able to do it. Milos used to do that too.
Yeah.
If you,
It looks, when you have a nice set of abs, this looks so beautiful. If you can do a front double biceps and you can blow the abs tight, it just looks good. But not a lot of people can stay big when they do that.
No.
John, with your structure, you have the shorter legs with a little bit longer torso. So what I would do to shorten that look is I would just contract down in my obliques, just the obliques, and that's going to pull everything down. And it would give you a little bit of definition in the abs too, so you don't just crunch down the middle of the abs, but just the outside, and that's going to give you some definition there, and also shorten, more balance out your physique in that.
Right. Okay.
On that note, okay, Dennis and I were talking the other day, and he even sent me a picture. I promise you, Chris, what I've seen in the Colosseum gym when Dennis, pulled those obliques in and waist in, it's like waist disappeared. It was like, holy shit. And you were advising like Max Charles that time when I was in the room. Like, there are two different things, John. You want to show the abs, and you want to
Bring the waist in,
small.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's 1-2 step. So first you learn how to expand and contract, right? Then and then bring the abs too. I liked it. I noticed that you do the ab pose in the front of biceps. They look good. I always like two versions of it. Tyler Mannion is going to tell you, no, do this one, right? But he's going to encourage you to, normally show both.
Yeah.
Right.
And listen, sometimes even, of course, Tyler or Jim would say, yeah, we prefer this one. But then you do the other one in the routine and say, damn, that looked good too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can do them both. The only issue is when you look in the mirror and you pose, you hit it every time. But when you're on stage, you don't see yourself. And then unless you do that pose 1,000 times a day,
Yep.
it's so hard to really hit it. And in Columbus, you hit it and you nailed it.
Yeah.
But it's not every time you do it. You just.
No.
It's just the way it is. The Rami, it was the same with Rami. Rami did that not only with the double biceps, also with the lat spread. And I tell you, when he does it in the mirror and he sees himself, he nails it. Without the mirror, he nails it 1 out of 10 times. And if you don't hit it on stage, it's just going to look bad for you. That's the problem.
John, one thing, I wish that I was in the era where we were able to see each other getting ready for the show, because we could never see how someone's coming into the show. With the era of the social media, you see guys posting pictures, posting videos, posing, flexing, and then toward the end, I think you were just like, I got some shit coming too.
Yeah, but Chris,
Coming too.
if you compare back then to now you see what the other guys look like. But what did you expect from the other guys without seeing them? Don't you expect them to be 100%?
That's a lot, yeah. But to see it is a whole nother thing to me, because I would be like,
Oh, so you think it would have fired you up more to see somebody else being in shape?
probably.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you from personal experience, I used to have a hard time with it because, I've never been a favorite I was always like expected to do good. But even going into the Arnolds, right? Like it was Samson Hottie. So that used to kind of mess with me because at the end of the day, it's like, well, no one else has a shot at winning this thing, and it used to frustrate me. Now, and that's kind of why I think what you're getting at, Chris, is like my backside was better than my front, which is not normal. But I had it in my head, like, I got to beat these guys from behind. Like, my front I know is going to be good, right? but if I would have focused a little bit more on my front, I could have been better. There are things that I, now in my plan going into the Olympia, I have my day written out where I have abdominal crunches, every morning and things like that I could have done for this prep, but instead I was doing glutes, I was doing hamstrings, I was focusing more on the rear. So I can tell you, like, I've been on both sides where it hurt me because I kind of like stifled myself and was like, well, I don't even have a shot at winning this. You know what I mean? Whereas this prep, I used it as fuel. I was like, I'm going to show these, not necessarily the competitors, but more, I'm going to show everyone that I can bang with these guys. Like, I'm going to be right there with them.
Yeah.
So I used it as fuel this time, whereas most of the other times it hurt me. Like I said, it stifled me. I was like, damn, I don't even have a shot at winning. And they're not even talking about me. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what you had.
So your goal is still to qualify for the Olympia this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The plan is, so after getting off stage in the UK, I had a conversation with some judges, and their suggestion for me was to take a little time off, try to add some tissue moving into the later part of the year, try and get a late qualification into the Olympia. And, they felt that I had a very good shot at placing in the top spots, top 10 spots at the Olympia. So at first I was a little bit like, man, I want to keep, when you got your foot on the gas and you're doing good, it's hard to just pull back,
Wouldn't you be the highest? 1 second. Wouldn't you be the highest ranking guy going into the Detroit Pro?
Yeah, but it also would eat up some time for me to put on the tissue. Well, ultimately the goal is to place. I'm just putting it out there. This is my goal, to place top 6 at the Olympia. 6 to 8 is where I would like to land. If I'm going to do that, I need to carry the muscle to place with those guys.
I get that. You need some time. I get that you need some time to put on the tissue, but you also need to qualify. So this will take away from that time because you need to qualify before the Olympia. I think if I would have went straight to Detroit and you would have won Detroit, you could have went straight to the Olympia. You would have all the time without the stress of winning the show before the Olympia.
Yeah, it was definitely. I mean, even Patrick and I were talking about it yesterday. He's like, "Man, what do you think about Detroit?" Patrick is sold on. Let's take some time now. Let's do it now. It was hard for me, and it's still hard because I'm in shape.
Try to reconstruct your look, and then go in.
Right.
You got people that rested the whole year and just going to that one also when you already,
I know that was the dilemma that I was had. But I put my faith in my coach. He got me to where I'm at right now. He helped me get to where I'm at right now, and I feel like if he feels this is the best move, I kind of agree with him in the sense that I know I need the time. So whether it's on the back end of it or on the front end of it, I got to take the time to put on the tissue anyways. So I figured, you know what? Let's take the gamble. I'd rather see. So what I was thinking was this kid Vito's getting all this hype going into, Brazil and
he's been getting hyped for 2 years and then he pulls out of the show before. I wouldn't put my money on somebody that hasn't competed yet.
I know. But you also know how this sport can go. Some of that carries into the show, and even though he may not deserve the win, he might get the win because of the hype, and I just didn't want to play that game.
So you think he's going to beat Rafael?
I think he carries the muscularity too. I think if the last updates that he posted are truly what he looks like.
But John, Instagram is Instagram. Instagram is Instagram. You never see the poses. They're weak-in. They don't show you that. That's why let's not get sold on something we haven't seen on stage before. For him, turning pro was the easiest thing on the planet. He wasn't even in shape and turned pro. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't go as far as saying, he looks from the front double biceps looks crazy.
Yeah.
But what else do we know from him?
Nothing else, I guess.
That's it. So that's his best shot. We know his best
Yeah.
pose. So we don't know. I'm not saying he can't be great. He's young. That's good for him. But I wouldn't jump on the bandwagon before I see him compete on stage next to these guys.
Right.
But getting back to what I said earlier, I understand you and your coach, and of course you and your coach, you got a great bond, and you guys should trust each other, and that's all fair. I was just thinking because there was the UK, and this show is what, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later.
It's in 3 weeks.
Oh,
So,
it's-
well,
oh, it's-
from UK it was 4 weeks.
Oh, okay. I thought it was two. I thought it was closer. Okay, I get that. I get that. 4 weeks
Do
is a
you
long
see
time.
yourself putting on a lot of tissue as far as like you want to try to outmass somebody, or I feel like
I
it's
don't
more like
think-
a cuts thing.
I don't think the judges are looking for me to outmass anyone per se. From what I understood, they just felt like a little bit more
cuts.
tissue is going to go a long way.
Did they tell you where?
They said they wanted more
Yes.
more muscularity in my legs, a little bit more thickness on my back, and across the pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I just think chest and abs. I think you're good everywhere else.
Yeah,
A little. He could use a little sweep on the quads.
yeah, I
you
agree.
know, because he used your legs. They've been better. Size wise. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, and that's something that usually once you get to the 40 and a little bit over, that's the first thing where you can realize. But it's possible to still grow them because Dexter proved that too. So there is a way.
yeah.
So there is a way. Maybe you want to ask Chris
John
how to grow
improved it.
legs.
I was picking on his legs prior to the Arnold Classic and pissed him off. He said he trained so hard. Yeah. I was like, cover the upper body, look at the legs, cover the lower body, this kind of thing. Hey, he got into
works.
it.
What advice do you have for him now when it comes to growing the legs?
Not so heavy, pain zone, unlock the knees and do that super slow shit. Create as much burn, as much pain in a quad. Good pain, not a bad pain. When you distribute everywhere, he doesn't need to distribute on his glutes.
Would you advise him to use insulin?
This is a good question.
I'm just asking questions the fans would probably ask if they had a chance.
Hey, listen. In my, just from what I've understood and heard, again, I've had this conversation with plenty of guys. Some guys think it's incredible. Some guys they stay away from it, right? From what I've heard, it's probably one of the things that have made a lot of differences.
Have you ever used it?
No,
Oh.
That's a lie. I've used it. I've used it very, very sparingly. So truth be told, I've never really
Locked in on it. Just like
Yeah, I've never really I've always been I started at 25. My mother works in the hospital. This whole thing has been always a little bit scary. I don't want to get hurt, and God forbid, then you see people getting injured and passing away. So that's always been there, and I've never. So here's a story. I was 24. And somebody was like, you should do an NPC show. I was competing in NABA, INBF. Me and Sean Clarita were kicking ass in the natural circuits. And I was like, man, but those guys are all taking stuff. So I went and I won my first NPC show natural. And that's when I was like, okay, then I'll do it. But I've been stuck in this well, I'm not going to take more because I'm not breaking into that next level. You know what I mean? So I've always had that process why am I going to take a bunch of insulin if I'm not at that level, So I have taken it very sparingly, on chest or chest day, on back day, or on leg day, big muscle groups. But I've only ever done 5 IUs.
Okay, Milos, what would you advise a guy when, let's say, a guy like John would ask you, what can I do to possibly grow some legs in the next few months?
Yeah, listen, first, I'm that evil insulin guy, and everybody's pointing fingers like you ruined the goddamn bodybuilding and all that stuff. Oh my God, it's so dangerous.
You almost put Samson in the hospital.
man.
Almost,
The doctor had to.
almost.
Insulin
He
is a strong anabolic hormone, storage hormone that creates that storage of the nutrients and anabolizes the body in a different pathway than steroids, testosterone, and all that shit. So it's very useful tool if you know how to use it. I agree with John. You don't have to use it in every body part, but body parts that you want to really refill big time, you do it. Now that 5 units is literally like spit in the ocean. It's not really doing much. Okay.
Can you go hyperglycemic from 5 units?
Yeah.
Can you
I
go?
have.
Listen.
Yeah, you could feel it.
Yeah, you could feel it, but there is this thing. If you go low blood sugar or hypoglycemia, you're going to feel it with 5 units, equally as, something more. If looking for that hypoglycemic episode and like, oh, this is dangerous, right? But if you know how to cover it and then you use super physiological amount more than your body would normally produce, now you have that real effect. And now, Dennis, I do remember you back in the day when you were sending me like, oh shit, you're so fully pumped, you can't even train how pumped you were. And then.
But it was still different protocols back then, Milos.
Yeah,
There was nothing before or during workout. It was all after.
After, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that time there was not that fast acting. It was R, L, and U. But
No. I remember exactly. I got the Humalog also, but we only did after the workout.
You couldn't have a Humalog in 99.
I didn't take it in 99.
Huh?
I didn't take it in 99.
In 99, Dennis. That's when I met at the Night of the
You
Champions.
met me in 99, but
So you met him and immediately went.
Hold on, the whole
Yeah.
story. 99, Night of the Champions, you were going to retire, as you usually do every time when you didn't like it. Like, okay, you retired. And then I sent you the
I know,
back.
but I didn't start until the end of the year. So 2000.
99.
Wait a minute.
99.
You're right. It was 99. Yeah, it was still in 99.
I remember everything
Yeah.
like a freaking elephant.
99. I can tell you exactly. I started the first one. I started it was July or August, end of July. I started using the insulin.
End of July.
And I remember exactly how much. It was I think it was 5 and then up to 10 units after workout, post-workout. I remember the post-workout shit.
20.
No, I didn't do 20 until much later. I did. You tried to give me 20 in
It's like an evil guy.
fucking Fullerton. You tried to tell me to do 20.
I got legs today. Should I do 20 units?
I would. I tell you this, John. 10 units is enough.
Yeah,
Right.
probably.
If you
yeah.
do it the right way, 10 units is enough.
Yeah.
Okay, John, and I know that you talked to Patrick, and Patrick would advise you or tell you not to use. And I think the Patrick used very little. That's why he probably used only 5. Okay, but just imagine if this is a blood, right? And you put anything in that blood. Whatever you put in the blood, as soon as insulin comes in, insulin is taking this out of the blood into the first available cells and tissues. When you train, only available cells and tissues are muscle cells. Every muscle contraction, it creates uptake of the nutrients into that muscle cell or muscle fiber of muscle that you're training. So is this good or bad thing? Of course it's a good thing, okay? And that's when you determine, okay, you want to try, you don't want to try. If you control it, look, it's dangerous. Gun is dangerous, if you point at yourself. Okay, but gun, can be used for many different ways to, do something. You can't do it without it. So I don't want to promote the insulin and all that stuff. But for me, after I understood this, that's how, when I started talking to Dennis and I competed against each other in 99 Night of the Champions, right? And I met him. I love his physique. I love the guy. Anyway, Melvin's friend, all that stuff. So I told him, if I'm you, I should try, and this is what I recommend, and really, responded greatly. So, for you, for legs, okay, Dennis, think about this: 40 years old, you don't want to risk tendons and ligaments. You don't want to go crazy, stupid, heavy shit. So whatever you have on the hack squats, pendulum, blah, 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 whatever you unlock your knees and try immediately to identify the muscle. Okay, put the load on the quads. Try to disengage your hamstring and glutes, really, because you have too much of that. So just put on the quads and now lower with the pain, and then lower even further and try to intensify that pain. And then normally everybody, I've seen you guys in New York, you go slow down, but they explode up. It's like science of, you slow on eccentric and then just blast on eccentric. Please try super slow concentrics for the quads, and then stay in that pain zone and never lock the knees and just let it burn and burn to hell. Intensify the pain. And if insulin is there, it's going to keep pushing shit into the quads. You're going to be like that. You can't even squat down when you get off the hack squats and you're so goddamn pumped, you can't even squat down on your own. It's that kind of feeling. For me, it's worth it. It's safe because you don't overload the joints, but you must be, how many people you see that they train legs, they really don't push balls to the wall in sense of creating the pain.
You know how far you can go? And you all probably went there. This is for the listeners. Pain, there's pain, then there's intense pain, and then you go through the other side. All of a sudden, you're numb.
Yeah, you don't feel shit.
That means you made it. You got there. Once you get numb, you're good.
I think it would be catastrophic if you blow out your stomach, though.
Yeah.
I think it was good that you didn't mess with it leading up, because when everybody started doing it, I started hearing everybody start doing it. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch y'all do it. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then it wasn't until
Chris, you used it too and didn't blow out your stomach.
No, I didn't use it until the end of my career. The last 3 years.
The last 10 years, maybe.
And not in the off season. I would go two weeks and I'd stop. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this no more because I'm too heavy.
Chris has a very bad memory.
Chris's memory is so bad that it's worse than mine. I thought mine was bad.
John.
Chris,
John,
they never done anything.
Listen, you're talking to someone who did.
No, I'm talking to someone who took
shows.
I'm talking to someone who took my insulin.
What?
Yeah, see, you don't even remember that.
With the damn
diuretics. You don't even remember. You don't even remember that.
You never
the podcast.
I'd still be waiting in that damn lobby for your ass.
This is amazing.
Chris's memory is so bad. He thinks Chris. I'm gonna mute you. Chris's memory is so bad that he really thinks that. He asked me for a diuretic at a show. I told him I'm going to get it, and I let him stand there.
I got receipts.
I let him stand there, never showed up.
I got receipts.
I am the total opposite. I would give it to him if I have it.
Don't make me do it to you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he don't even remember that I gave him my insulin at one point.
John.
Yeah, but John, I agree. Listen, you monitor your waist, right? So.
This motherfucker.
So, John, I'm sure that is in the back of your mind. Oh, insulin can blow up your waist and all. You do it sparingly.
It blew up mine. It blew up mine. That's for sure.
Blow up, and then it's if you use it 4 hours in your system. That's all you have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So take advantage of that for these 4 hours, and then. Yeah, that's normal. That's it. I think it's usable tool, of course, but I don't want to be the one pushing it.
I think when you carb it up, I think it's very useful. It's a difference if you do it right.
But it can also go back. It can backfire when you carb up.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a high risk.
I think this is one of the advantages of me kind of like not pushing things, because I have so many tools that I can still utilize to continue to advance myself, These are all things that everyone thinks like, oh, you trained with Victor all these years. I was not asking Vic. Vic was at the prime of his career when I was training with Victor. I wasn't asking Vic, hey, so what's your cycle like? Nah, I knew my role. My role was help Vic be the best he can be, you know, whatever that meant. You know, if it was helping him load the weights, training with him, pushing him, whatever it was.
Vic was just like you. You should have asked him because you guys were friends and trained together. You should have asked him.
Hey,
that's like
Vic had
what
no
they
problem.
said.
Look at Vic.
Yeah.
Look at Vic.
Vic
I
had,
saw that. You just
Vic,
posted that.
John, Vic had no issue to come to me in a club.
Yeah.
In what was it? I think it was the USA's one year. The USA's maybe in 2001 or 2002. The beginning of when Vic turned pro in 2000. I think a year later in the club, he came to me and he asked me about. He wanted to know about insulin. He came with a fucking a napkin and a pen and paper and wrote down the information I gave him, and that's what he used it. So why not ask?
I just, you know, I'll give you guys a quick story. When I was like 13 years old, my dad got me my first gym membership. And there was a big guy. You guys may know him. His name is Scott Siegel. You guys remember Scott Siegel?
I remember the name.
From the Northeast. He was a big white dude. He used to compete too. Anyways, he got arrested for selling juice. He was an actor in some movies or whatever. Anyways, so he was at the gym. And he was like the first bodybuilder that I had been in and around for, you know, almost every day. So I was in the gym trying to show off one day, and Scott was like, "You think you bench 225?" And I was 13 years old. I was like, "Yeah, I could do that." So I remember my dad's like, "Hey, you sure you can do that?" Like, I was like, "Yeah, I could do it," but it fell bang, hit my chest. I couldn't get it up. My dad was like, "Leave it there. He's gonna learn. You don't live for the ego, and you don't do shit that you're not supposed to do."
You gonna learn today?
Yeah. So I just kind of like understood my role in the gym at the time was, you know, just to help out where I could. Like, don't ask questions that I wasn't supposed to be asking. Like, my dad would have slapped me upside the head if I asked somebody, "Hey, what's your cycle?" Like these kids do today. That, like, if I would have asked, "Hey, how many sets do you do? What's your split like?" My dad's okay with that. But to go up at 16 years old and ask Vic, like, "So what's your cycle like?" Nah, man, my dad would be like,
That's how old you were?
Well, maybe not at 16. I'm talking about when you're 25 and you start using stuff.
Later on.
Yeah, because I always...
Victor did guide me in some ways, but at the same time, like I said, he was in his prime, so I was trying not. I didn't want to bother him, you know. I was kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I always say,
but it worked in my benefit. I still have a lot of tools that I can use, you know.
There you go. All right, it's awesome.
What do you think you need to improve?
I think I was really happy with the package that I presented in UK and in Ohio. I do think, and I do believe that if I'm able to add a little bit more tissue, it just brings a little bit more of that like wow factor, which is what I think I need. Like, I was looking at Hadi. There's certain things that like fine tuning, right? Like Hadi's stage presence is like, I was just studying him on the side. I was like, man, this dude's a fucking animal. Like,
next level.
Everything he does, like
perfect.
Every movement is rehearsed, practiced probably a million times over. Like, the dude knows exactly when to breathe, how to breathe, when to contract, how hard to contract. Like, everything is just precise with him.
But isn't it funny? Because would we consider bodybuilding in a U.S. sport? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And he's teaching all y'all how to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, like the dude is professional.
He's teaching every single guy on the Olympia stage how to be a fucking bodybuilder. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like, dude is no joke. And I realized it standing on the side in the UK watching Hadi and Samson and him go at it, because previously, before getting on stage, I remember Patrick saying, like, listen, on your quarter turns, like, don't fucking let up. Like, make sure your every pose is just bang on, right? And I thought my presentation was good. Yeah. So I was just watching like how Hadi did it, because obviously we're the same height and I want to get to where he's at. And I remember there's a moment where like he kind of like did this. They were doing the quarter turns and he kind of like turned his back to the judges and he took a deep breath and like he let it out.
Reset.
And then like sucked it back in and just like bam, like got right into the side chest, like side quarter turn super hard. I mean, everything was just nasty hard. And then I realized like that's rehearsed. That's his routine. Like this is what he does.
But I think
And
he
he
helps
knows
the
when to
sport.
breathe, how to breathe, like because he held his breath the entire way through until that moment. Like everything was just super hard, and it was awesome to watch. So there are little things that like I can still continue to refine and get better at. But I think overall, like the wow factor, just bringing that muscularity. Like when you look at somebody like Akeem, I mean, how do you blame the judges for putting him ahead of me when you look at him, you're like, holy shit, that's a big boy. And when he's hard, it's even more impressive. You know, Samson, same thing. Hadi, same thing. So if I think I could bring that muscularity up a little bit, maintaining my shape and size, I think I could do really, really well.
That's
So
it's
breathing-
funny, huh?
Just the breathing control. Okay. There is a moment when you inhale, exhale. There is a moment when you turn around, you're not visible, that you can adjust your abs, turning around. But for you also, that I notice, maybe I would still try to improve the angles a little bit. Like from the side, you can twist a little bit, everything. That's why when Dennis asked you, are you analyzing the video footage?
Yeah.
When I look at my old footage from back in the day, I'm so pissed off. I had so many things I could improve if I just thought about it. So now you have all this footage from every angle. Okay, so if you are the judge yourself, what do you see? From a side, relax. You look great, yeah? But if you turn a little bit more around, you gain a couple of inches here, right? And your waist still stay the same. Everything is equal. Legs stay the same, but you're wider upstairs. Hadi is not nearly as thick from the side as Samson, right? But the way he turned around, he creates that illusion that you can't see.
Yeah.
This kind of
Even the backstage, I was studying Hadi. They may sound weird, but like I was watching him. Like normally, I'm the guy that like when I'm backstage, I'll pump up for 15, 20 minutes. You know, like how much. I was always of the thought process like, how much am I going to pump up? I got like no carbs in me, no fluid in me. Like I'm going to get pumped and then it's going to get flat. And then you know, he was back there pumping up for 45 minutes. Like it was like a full on workout for him. He was going at it. I was like,
I like to do a workout back there.
You know, I started pumping up too, and it worked. I felt fuller than I've ever felt on stage because I guess like the pump was kind of there already right before I got on stage, and then just hitting a few more push-ups and laterals, it just kind of, you know.
Yeah, I think it's funny. It's funny how you watch Hadi from stage competing next to him, how you see that he is really next level.
Yeah,
and I think you're not the only one who can feel what Hadi is on stage. And I think it's going to help to make the sport of bodybuilding much better because I think a lot of you guys are going to take a lot of stuff way more serious now because you see at the end, you need that time on stage. You need that stamina to hold your poses. And I think it's going to change the sport in the next 2 years. And I think Hadi plays a huge factor.
I agree. I've made this promise to myself and my wife, my stage presence next time will be definitely better. I think like what you're saying, Dennis, it's 100% true because I can feel like the thing is, like I said, it's like it's almost every second that he's on stage, he's capitalizing every movement, every breath, every contraction, and you feel that energy that he's just like, I'm fucking here and I'm gonna win this thing. You know what I mean? Right. It's really, really cool to watch. And like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I've never really seen someone. He's a consummate professional. Like even what the dude did, I don't know if you guys saw, like I was sitting there, like I had a few fans in the UK, but the dude had a line like a ton of people. So I'm sitting there, I went through my line in about half an hour, took some pictures or whatever. And he saw me sitting there and the dude was like, hey, come here. You know, he called me over, had one of his guys come over and get me. And he was like, John, you're a champion. You're a champion too. These people are going to know your name too. Just take some pictures with me. And I thought, man, how many guys, I mean, I'm going to be honest here. There's a lot of guys in the sport with a lot of huge egos.
Yeah.
Huge egos. How many guys in the sport are actually going to be like, hey, you know what? Come over here. I want you to be my fans too. You're a champion too, man. You got to, you know, come take some pictures. I thought that was.
He's so good for the sport. He's good for the sport.
Yeah.
He's going to change. Man. He can really, this is his era. I don't care if he wins the Olympia or not. This is an era where he makes a huge impact. not only in the U.S., worldwide. And I think a lot of people are going to look up to him and they're going to copy what he's doing and make themselves better just for that. Guys, our time is up. I appreciate you all. John, thank you for making the time. And it was last second because she was supposed to be next week. And we had to move in up because Guy had to get on a flight last minute, told me this morning he can't make the podcast. I thank you for that. Chris, Milos, thank you guys as always.
Right.
And
All right, guys.
John, I'll talk to you in a little bit. I got to give you a call a little bit later, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right,
Thank you, guys.
you guys be
John.
safe. Okay.
I fly United.
All right, you guys be safe. Take care, brothers.
Yes, guys.
All right.